Hello, everybody. So I'm waiting for our guest to join in, and I guess she's having a little bit of a technical issue, but she should be joining us anytime now. So already you know who it is. It is That Proud Black Woman, and I promised to bring you a speaker to talk to us about how to boost your mental health, especially in this pandemic. So that's what we're doing today, and I'm just waiting. You have to bear with us a little bit for her to join us. While people are joining, if you could just introduce yourself in the chat section. What's your name? Where are you joining us from? Rep your city, rep your country, rep your area. How have everybody been doing in this pandemic? I know it's not been easy for everybody, especially myself. It's not been easy trying to figure out our way because everybody's learning through this process. It just sprang on us from nowhere, and we've been trying to figure it out as we go, day in, day out. So how have you been doing? Let me know in the comment. Oh, finally. Hold on. Oh, hi.
Oh,
I
my
was already
special
thinking
self.
I'll be the only one doing this today.
No, I wouldn't let you down. My Nigerian nurse showed up, but we got it. We got it. We got him. Sorry about that.
No problem. So I'm just on the screen right now. Yeah, so today's title is how to boost your mental health in a pandemic. And yep. Okay, I'm gonna add you back on.
Okay.
Hi. So I'm trying to see, like, is my camera like dark? The background?
No, it's okay.
Is okay? Okay, because
Yeah.
I've had a little problem with my last two streams where it looks okay, but then when it records, it's dark or blurry.
Oh, okay.
All
It's
right,
okay.
so I'm just gonna start by introducing you. So I have a little bio that I wrote up.
Okay.
So so I'm just gonna start with that, and then we're gonna start with the questions. And by the time we're done, people that are unable to join will be able to watch like a replay of it.
Okay.
So I don't know if this is how to pronounce your name, but I wrote Bibi Sonye. Is that how to pronounce it?
Yes. So my name is Bibi. You can say Bibi. You can say Bibi Sonye. You can just use Bibi Kachis, anyhow you want to put it, but that's fine.
All right. Okay. So Bibi Sonye is a sociologist, mental health advocate, mental health worker, mental health first aider, a YouTuber, and a content creator. She's passionate about helping people, creating awareness about mental health issues, and making a real difference within our community. She offered free Zoom counseling to a lot of Nigerian youths during the EndSARS and the Lekki massacre protest, who might be suffering from traumatization due to the event. Everybody was traumatized. I was traumatized during that time. So I believe this is like really huge. And that's what exactly drew me to you, because before then I didn't know much about you. I didn't know you had the background for mental health, that you had the mental health background. So now I'm like, let's bring that out, let people know what you're about, and learn from, and also learn from you, because at this point, a lot of people are suffering from mental issues, and they don't even know that they're suffering from mental health issues. Because judging from where we're from, I'm from Nigeria, I'm Yoruba, and a lot of times people don't really believe in mental health issues, except if you're actually like crazy, like mad and on the street. And if you're looking normal, but still having some kind of behavior, they just attribute it to like spiritual problems, or attribute it to witchcraft and stuff like that. So a lot of people don't believe in mental health issues, and that has created some kind of stigma So people that are actually suffering, one, they might not know they're suffering from it, or if they do, they don't want to tell anybody because they are ashamed of it and they are scared of the stigma that comes with it. So this brings us to my first question. So what is mental health, and what impact does sound or problematic mental health have on our day-to-day lives?
If the definition of mental health is actually attached to your everyday life. So the simple, let's not get into psychological definition, but the simple definition for mental health is the ability for somebody to be able to cope with everyday life, withstanding mental health issues. And with just use regular words here. So basically, everyday life challenges, be it stress, be it losing somebody, be it a traumatic experience like what we passed through with the NSARS, all those things could trigger mental health. So it could be everyday life. It doesn't have to be something so grave, like let me say someone passing away. It doesn't have to be someone going to war and coming back. But mental health is the ability to be able to go through life and communicate with people, be a part of society, and contribute to society and function properly in a definition. So mental illness kind of hinders people from being a part of everyday life.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. So a lot of times, as I said before, people don't know that they're suffering from mental health. So I would say even before 2010, I didn't know there was mental health issues like anxiety. I knew about depression, but I thought depression was like, had to be huge where people would actually get to a point where they want to commit suicide before you can see that's depression. A lot of times people don't know these things, and I thank you for like throwing a little light on that, because now people know that people suffer from mental health issues. They might know of it, and sometimes they might not know of it because they assume that mental health issues has to be like really bad, where you have to go to an asylum or have to be on the street naked tearing your clothes off. So that's really good that we're bringing that to the fore and we're creating awareness about that. So this brings me to my next question. So as I touched a little bit upon it earlier. So some people, especially within the African community, I can only speak for the African community because I don't know how it works out in other Black communities. But I know there's a little bit of trait about people not being able to talk about mental health issue. It's something that you have to sweep under the carpet. Nobody wants to talk about it. So a lot of people in the African community, they believe that regular people don't suffer from mental health issues, right? Except for mental insanity, as I said, madness, and they sometimes attribute such to witchcraft. So drawing from your knowledge and from your experiences, how would you respond to this?
I'm trying to use nice words. It's stupid, to be honest, because you know what it is? It's stupid in a way, but then again, it's not really, because our culture, mental health and mental illnesses is not new to our culture. So it kind of baffles me where we're getting this idea that it's witchcraft, because if you check throughout history, you see that African people have suffered from mental health and they've dealt with it different ways, right? So it kind of baffles me where we're getting this, oh, it's witchcraft and everything. But then again, the African nation, and I'll speak for myself as well, the Nigerian, country as a whole, we are influenced by religion a lot, be it the Islamic religion or be it the Christian religion. And I feel like this ties into where we get the witchcraft, and it's not normal, and it's not, we get all those lingos from. What attracted me to mental health in the first place, because I grew up in a family where we were all fine. And that's the problem with, and I put everything in quotation marks, because fine and normal and healthy is questionable, right? So I grew up in a family where we were all fine. Mommy was fine, daddy was fine, everybody was fine. We woke up in the morning and we were okay to do. So it was not really a hard life. You know what I mean? And everybody was doing fine. But then again, I wasn't doing fine, and I knew I wasn't doing fine, but I couldn't say anything because everybody was doing fine. We went to church, we prayed, everything was supposed to work out. And when I found out that I was going through, Okay, let me just reverse a little bit. So what attracted me to mental health, I was going through school, getting my sociology degree and everything, and we'll have assignments on mental health and all those little things. And I would just kind of, brush it over because it doesn't happen. It's not me. It's not my thing. It's not a Nigerian thing. It's not an African thing. Until I figured out that I had a mental health. I had a mental health crisis, and there's an illness. There's a crisis. Crisis like a quick breakdown. And when I went, lucky for me, I was in a country where all these things, like, you could get help for it. I was in Canada. So once this happened, I went for counseling, and they were asking me questions like, do you have mental health in your history? Mental illnesses in your history and everything. And that's the problem with the Nigerian thing, because we don't talk about these things. There's no way to keep record of our history. You know what I mean? So I said, no, everybody's fine, because they told me everybody was fine, and they started asking me questions and trying to dig deeper. And that's when I knew, oh my God, this is a huge deal. So I got involved with the mental health, community in Canada, and I started finding out more about mental health. I started finding out more about, illnesses, myself, breakdown, and it took me back to Nigeria. And this is why I'm bringing this back to Nigeria, because I'm like, there's a lot of people in Nigeria with mental health issues. We have mental illnesses, we have mental crisis, and given my background with the LGBTQ plus society, there's a lot of people that you're marginalized. You're facing a lot of things that also create mental illness. So I'm looking at the whole Nigeria. I'm like, we all are going through something or the other, because first of all, the country is not going the way it should. So that itself, the uncertainty in the community, the financial crisis can create mental illness. So there's a lot of people going through this. It is an African thing, it's a Nigerian thing, it's a Black thing, it's an everybody thing. Mental illness doesn't know your color, it doesn't know your class, it doesn't know your creed, it doesn't care. When it comes for you, it comes for you. You know what I mean? So this whole thing that, oh, it's madness, and when someone is going through a mental health crisis, they're looked upon that they're crazy. I don't know why we're getting that from, because it's happening. And if something has happened to one Nigerian, it's a Nigerian thing, because one Nigerian means it's there. You know what I mean? So that's the problem. When people say all those things, there's witchcraft and everything, I'm like, no, we're suffering from anxiety here. Given the past issue with the NSARS, a lot of people I saw, a lot of people I spoke to were going through anxiety. You know what I mean? And everybody was freaking out, trying to figure out a way forward, and they didn't have access to healthcare. They didn't have access to, free healthcare, in the sense that getting counseling. So it's just, it boggles my mind where you don't provide counseling, you don't provide healthcare for people, and then you tell people that are going through crisis and illnesses that they're mad. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because people always say this is not African. And my problem is, it's not that you're saying, hush, don't tell anybody because we don't want to be shamed in the society, but you're not actually providing help for these people. So you just cover it up in your household, and the problem is not going to go away. So sometimes they say people commit suicide, and they're like, in my language, they'll say, Ayelonshe. That means like you're being followed by some evil spirit, or you've been cursed by something. But what did you do when this person came to you to tell you that this is what they're going through? You didn't do anything. All you said is you don't want to say that because you might not get a husband. You might not get admission into some school. You might not, the church might look upon you in some type of way. And then they take you to, like, for deliverance. That's one of the part that annoys me. So you take people for deliverance where the pastor end up beating you up or burning you up and stuff like that, because they assume that you have witchcraft. So and the people that does these things, it's not that they're not exposed. Some of them are doctors. Some of them have traveled out of the country. You know what I mean? So you wonder at what, like, creating this awareness, it's not like they don't know, but it's like they choose to ignore it. Because anything that they don't see that goes with the regular African mentality, they say, oh, it's an African, right? The norm. So that's, thank you for throwing a little bit of light on that. And yeah, I hope people get to take that home and digest it. So my next question is, everybody knows that we've been in the pandemic, like, it snuck up on us. Nobody thought it was going to happen, but like, I've never thought that for a whole year we'll be on lockdown and dealing with some virus that nobody ever thought of. So a lot of people that usually wouldn't be with their spouse or wouldn't be with their children 24 hours a day, and now being locked indoors, being with their children, be with their husband, and learning a lot of new things about them. So in this situation, a lot of people started having some kind of feeling that they don't know what it is, right? So this pandemic, it has not been easy for a lot of us, a lot of people around the world. So either those that has pre-existing conditions, or those that are just developing it or don't even know that they're developing these issues. So what are the signs to watch out for? Especially now, we're not talking about people that already has pre-existing condition, but those that are developing. What are the things to watch out for, the signs to watch out for? And then how do we evaluate ourselves, and how can we boost our mental health in this trying period?
This question is so loaded because there are different parts of it. I mean, the term or the sentence, be your brother's keeper, kind of comes into play. This pandemic has really taught everybody a lot. It kind of took your everyday life and reduced it to being in one room. And like you said, a lot of people have been developing mental illnesses like anxiety, claustrophobia, different things that comes with being confined to one place. And to be honest, signs, I don't want to put pressure on people looking in to say, oh, look at what they're doing and quit, because it's hard for everybody. And then it's kind of harder for you to take care of yourself and take care of others. But if you can, right now, everybody's on social media, because that's the only way we can communicate with people. Look out for someone that usually is very vocal and loud and out there. They might become timid and quiet. Look out for those little posts. Someone can just post a sad thing. And right now, what I try to do a lot is for the LGBTQ plus society. I look out for people, because now people that were able to go to school and be themselves when they go to school can, like, now are on online classes and they're at home. So now just imagine someone that is in the closet, that had, like, no, you go to school and you get to be yourself in school, you get to talk to your partner, you get to meet people, you get to be free. All of a sudden now you're doing online classes and you're at home with religious parents, with you're around a society that has behind you. It's very, very difficult to deal with. So you see people putting up posts like, I can't wait to get out of here and stuff like that, just little things. And it doesn't hurt to just ask, are you okay? You know what I mean? And it's very simple. Are you okay? A very genuine one. It doesn't have to be sarcastic. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It just reach out. Oh, are you okay? Are you doing okay today? And the person can just tell you yes. And if it depends on your level of relationship with that person. You want to hang out? Do you want to talk about something? Do you want to play a game online together? Just kind of get the person off that mood and just show the person that you care. That's one thing. But for yourself, taking care of yourself, if you find yourself kind of the beginning signs of depression is you feel like you're drowning, you're so into yourself that you're not looking out anymore, you don't look forward to everyday life, you don't look forward to waking up in the morning. If you see those signs coming up, try your best to take a break. It's very, very important to take a break. So right now we can see people getting anxiety from social media, from the internet, because anytime you turn on the internet, there's a new disease. There's COVID-19, there's COVID-21, there's conversation about vaccine, there's a new virus, there's travel restrictions, so much things. The second you turn on any technology, you're bombarded with different things, right? So try your best to take a break. It's very important to take a break, because if you don't take a breather, turn off your technology, turn off your phone, you just take a break, watch a movie, go for a walk, listen to music, do something, and try your best to do something that makes you feel good. If you like putting on makeup, because people like putting on makeup and going to work, but all of a sudden they've lost their job, they've lost their livelihood, they've lost all those things. Put on makeup and go for a walk. Put on makeup and take pictures. You know what I mean? It's okay to do those things. It sounds very silly. But it kind of helps you kind of get back to your regular pattern. And it's very needed to get back to that regular pattern, because I always use myself for example. Like, I'm a very hands-on person. I like going to work. I like routine, and I like being in control of my life. But with COVID, I have no control whatsoever of my life and what I'm doing. So, when I want to be here, I can't be here. When I want to travel, there's restrictions. I can't do those things. So I try my best to do things that make me happy and accept things I can't change, and try and control things that I can't change. Some things like breakfast, I can't change when I could be able to travel back to Canada. No problem. I'm going to change what I want to have for breakfast. Instead of me having eggs and pancakes, today I'm going to have myself waffles. I'm going to try something new. Just try to create little things that you can control to kind of bring you back to having your own power as a human being. Seek out for help if you need it. If you're in Nigeria, if you're in Canada, there are avenues. Right now, people are offering counseling online. So if you can't physically go see a social worker, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, you can actually meet with people online. So people offer for free. Myself, I offer for free. You can speak to me if you need to. And everything remains anonymous. That's the beauty of it. Like anything I discuss with anybody, it's not out there. I don't talk about people's business. I delete the conversations and I move on, and you move on too. But if you need the help, don't be ashamed to seek for help. You're not the only person going through this right now. And that's the thing. Stigma has done a lot of damage to us. We always feel like we're the only ones going through this. Let me cover myself. Let me hide in shame. No, because if you're the only one going through mental illness, there won't be a bunch of graduates from psychology, sociology, and the rest of them at every year. So obviously there are other people going through this. That's why you have a huge range of people waiting to give you help. Seek out for help. In Nigeria, they offer help to a bunch of clinics that offer help. And if you work in Nigeria, I know some companies use their insurance now to actually cover for mental health counseling. So please look out. And I always advise people, don't do Dr. Google, because the second you type in, I am having a headache, my mouth tastes like salt, and it will tell you you have bipolar, this and that. So Googling, because there's similar symptoms for different illnesses. So once you Google that, it triggers. I used to do that. The second I feel anything, okay, that's cancer. I'm gonna go take care of it. And people fall into that pattern because right now you don't have access to your doctor. If you want to book a doctor's appointment, it takes you longer to do that. So people just go on Google and stuff. Avoid doing that. If you want to do that, if you want to look up something, look up meditation, look up things that will make you feel better instead of looking up what's wrong, because honestly, 90% of the time, what you're looking at online won't really give you the answer.
Yeah. Thank you for that. I would say I'm guilty for the Google doctor, because every single thing that I want to do, I literally, like, I always say something. Google is a girl's best friend. So now thinking about it, yeah, it makes sense, because a lot of times I freak out from looking at Google. Yeah. So maybe I have a tummy ache and I'm like, you know what? Let me see what are the symptoms. So I put in the symptoms and then it tells me you have gastrointestinal blah blah blah. I'm like, oh God, what is this? And then I'm freaking out. And then I go to a real doctor only to find out maybe it's just gas. So yeah, that makes sense not to Google, actually seek. And especially here in Canada, healthcare is free. I don't know why I do that, because I'm born Nigerian, and I still have that Nigerian thing in me where, you know what, we'll just stick it through. Let's see how I feel tomorrow morning. Let me just sleep over it. And then sometimes I'm looking for home remedies to curing this and home remedies. So yeah, I'm really guilty about that. And talking about things like actually doing things that you would like, or things that you love to do, but because of COVID, you've not been able to do it. Like taking a walk is really important. For me, before the COVID started, I started going to the gym, right? So I'll go to the gym once I finish work, get 30 minutes in before I go pick up my kids from daycare and all of that. But what I found was, once the COVID started, I decided, you know what? Every day I would take a walk around the compound of my workplace. But because it was just me, I lost interest at some point. But recently, about 3-4 months ago, somebody else joined me, and then we became each other's buddy. So we started challenging each other. So every day we would go on walks, and then now we're 4 because 2 other people joined in, and it was very relaxing. And that's the only exercise I get in. But that I kid you not, those 15 to 18 minutes break that I used to go around the building, it helps me a lot. So if it is something that people can do, if you're working from home, you can actually take a walk around your building. As Bibi said, put a makeup on. I don't use a lot of makeup, so but if you're the type that likes makeup, put makeup on and walk around.
Pictures. And get where if you're working from home, honestly, this is a big thing now, and I have to put that in. If you're working from home and you feel like, oh my God, you don't have the chance to dress up anymore, dress up at home. Put on some makeup, wear your shoes. You know what I mean? You can go outside the door and walk back into your home like you just walked into the office. Say good morning to your family and friends, and go about your day. You create routines for yourself that seems normal to help you cope. That's the thing, because nobody's gonna really help you through the first part. You have to kind of push yourself a little bit. And other people, you can tell your family members what you need. See, when I walk in here and I say good morning, I needed to be the CEO and say good morning, Miss Bibi. I tell the kids I need you to be, I need to be my assistant when I'm walking, handling my file, and they will do that for you, because at the end of the day, everybody needs to get through this together. So
Yeah.
asking for help is not a big deal. It's okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the other part of it. People actually asking for help, and that's why when you actually hear that somebody hurt themselves, or they slit their wrist, or they committed suicide, you'll be wondering, but this person was so happy. What happened? This person was so bubbly. But that's because they never opened up to anybody, because of the fear of judgment, because of the fear of the stigma that comes with it. So that's the part that I feel like we need to keep hammering on, to let people know that it's okay to ask for help, and also to also educate other people that may not be suffering from mental health, that when people come to you, do not shame them, do not laugh at them, do not trivialize that issue. When they say, well, I feel like I'm having anxiety or I'm depressed, don't laugh about it, don't make it a joke, don't tell other people about it, because this is the culture that we've been grown into, that a lot of people just, oh, they act like they understand what you're saying, but as soon as you walk away, they're telling the entire world your business. So we need to learn that. We need to change our culture to be able to be more accommodating and to be able to help others. And it will help us as well, because if somebody normally acts out of character, you would know how to work with them, because you know that
True.
it's not them, it's whatever they are going through. And that's really important. If you know, okay, this person has bipolar, for example, I don't even know what that means, but if this person has bipolar, so when they're having that episode, to maybe leave them for a little bit so that they can act out, and then after that come back. But if you don't know, if you're not aware, you get mad, you get upset, then it becomes a whole big issue. But if you know how to deal with the situation. So it's a win-win. You know how to deal with situations when they arise, and then at the same time you're giving other people that safety net, right? So yeah. So my next question is, it's I think we already touched up on it throughout the first three questions, but I would like to focus a little bit more on it. So how can we accommodate or help, albeit subtle, people suffering from confirmed or suspected mental health problems? How can we help? So this is not for people that are already suffering. This is like to the general public. How can you help?
If someone comes to you with an issue, do not minimize the issue. If I come to you and say, oh my God, you know what? I'm feeling very, very sad and down, and I've been trying to shake it off for a day or two, but it's not going away. And I don't know, I feel like it's depression, and I don't know what to do. What should, like, what, don't minimize, just be like, it's okay, you're fine. Because once you do that, the person shuts off. You know what I mean? And we do that a lot in our culture. We have to try to cut that off. It's not, there's this strong black woman, strong black man umbrella that kind of covers us, but that hinders us from being human and having the ability to feel. And I feel like that's a lot of problem. That's why I feel that a lot of mental health conversation is not being had, in the black community, because we're strong, we're the strong ones, it's not us. So when someone comes to you with an issue like that, don't minimize the issue. Don't say, yeah, it's one of those things, you'll be fine. No, ask questions. How do you want me to help? Do you want to talk to somebody? Do you want me to help you look online for a counselor? Like, how do you want me to help you? Should I reach out to you more? Stuff like that. Secondly, try your best not to, this is going to sound rude, but not to say things you're not certain of, in a sense of, if someone tells you that, just like, it's going to be okay in 3 days. It's, this is good, because if you give someone that advice and in 3 days it's not okay, then the person assumes the worst right away, because, oh my God, Shade said it's going to be okay in 3 days. So if you don't know, if you're not familiar with it and you don't know what to do with that information, you can help the person seek help somewhere else, but don't give answers that you're not certain about. it's going to go away. If you pray, it's going to be fine. All those things, because once you give someone that answer and the person tries it out and it doesn't help them, it's double problem. It's a double worry. It's like, just imagine walking to your doctor's office and the doctor's like, oh, well, you have a headache, take this pill, it should be done, you should be fine in 2 days. And then in 2 days the headache gets worse, or you're not fine. Right away you're freaking out, you're like, oh my god, that means it's
Yeah.
not this. And it kind of, you know what I mean? So we try to not do that. Make your space a very accommodating space. Even if you don't know anybody going through mental health issues, make your space an accommodating space. Like, be careful about what you post, because you can't be posting on Instagram every day stuff about, COVID, and then if you're somebody that is, oh, COVID is planted by the government, you're always thinking about it's something is going on, it's a conspiracy, and you keep posting that, you might not know who you're triggering out there. So I'm following you, we're family members, we're friends, and you're posting stuff and I'm taking it in. Some people are sponges and they're just absorbing everything you're putting in. And then you go to bed fine at night. You're like, oh, well, I got 50 more followers today for the nonsense I post. But then there's someone out there, unable to cope the whole night, the whole morning, months, weeks, because you posted something. So you have to be very careful what you put out there, the energy you put out there, the things you post online, the things you say, you have to be very careful because you don't know who is watching. And it's something else again. If you throw people, I'm just going to put this out there because it's very important. If you put people in your, I don't know, close friends or whatever, be careful what you post, because people will feel awkward leaving your close friends. But then if you're posting triggering stuff, then they kind of subject, like, okay, this person sees me as a friend, that's why they put me to this close friend stuff. And then all of a sudden, the person is posting everything about something. Oh my God, I think I have COVID. So everything kind of triggers. So you have to be careful about what you post, and be very careful with your language. Don't call people mad. Don't call people crazy. Don't call people, just be very careful, because you might be okay, but someone else is not. So be careful with the language you use. Be careful with, the lingos you use. Be careful about the things you put out there and things you say, because it might not mean anything to you. I always say that people put things that don't mean anything to them, they just want to repost, but to someone else it means a lot. So the key things are just be accommodating, be nice, be friendly, be careful about what you post, and always reach out. If you feel like someone is acting, like we talked about, out of character, or someone is acting a little calm, the person is a little lively and the person is acting a little calm, reach out. Sometimes someone is calm and all of a sudden they start acting up and they're just doing the most, and you're like, okay, this person is just looking for attention online. It might not be that. Maybe the person is crying out for help, and it's not the person wants to be a thought. The person wants to. So it's okay to reach out, and when you're reaching out, don't be accusatory. Don't be like, this is what you're asking, like, Asha, well, what's wrong with you? I'm not going to tell you what my issue is. I'm being honest, but Nigerian people reach out to you like that. It's like, this is why you slap with mini skirts. What's wrong with you? That's not how it used to be before. Just a simple, are you okay? Is everything okay? Those, like, just a calm thing, and the person said, okay, no, everything is fine, okay, no problem, you can check back again in 2 days, 3 days, but just look for those little signs and be able to reach out to people. That's most important right now.
That's really important. So talking about reaching out to people, a lot of times it doesn't have to be your family members. It doesn't have to be your friends. So I was, I think early last year, I was at the gym and I was in the changing room and I could hear some lady crying her guts out and throwing up at the same time. And I wasn't the first person that went into that changing room. A lot of people went in there and they just walked out like, I don't want to get in the business. So what I did was I just knocked on the door and I said, are you okay? So she said, yeah, I'm okay. So I said, okay, if you need anything, please let me know. I'll be staying here for like 5 minutes. So I was stretching there and then she came out and she was really grateful. All I said was, are you okay? But I guess the way she saw it as somebody cares. I don't know what she was thinking about. Maybe she was thinking of harming herself that day, because she thinks nobody cares. And that, are you okay? When several people have walked by that same day, nobody asked her anything. So I felt, and after that, I saw her several times after that, the gym, and she would like literally look at me so that I could look at her and then be like, hi. So I felt like, what did I do? All I did was, are you okay? But I don't know the impact that little are you okay made on that person. And talking about last week, I was watching something on the TV And no, it wasn't on TV, it was on Instagram. And it was a little documentary about some guy that jumped off the LA bridge but survived. So what he was saying was when he was going to commit suicide at 6 a.m., he already thought about this thing. He didn't know how to come out to his parents or whatever. But he went to his dad's room and his dad was suspicious, like, are you okay? And all of that. He said, yes, yes. He tried to convince his dad that everything was fine. And he left. And he said he felt so bad because he felt, I'm only lying to my dad. I'm actually going to commit suicide. So he was on the bus and he said he started crying and wailing on the bus because he was hoping that somebody would reach out to him and say, little boy, what's wrong with you or whatever. But he said all he got was negative attention, people laughing at him like, look at this boy. They were pointing at him. And he said that was what actually made him jump off the bridge, because he was thinking somebody will at least reach out and he will be able to like pour out his heart to that person because he doesn't know the person, right? But everybody was laughing, pointing at him and saying, what the heck is wrong with this one? Why is this one crying on the bus? And that was exactly what triggered him. And he said he jumped off the bridge. And as he jumped off the bridge, he started thinking, oh my God, what have I done? I don't really want to die. I love my parents. I love my family, but it was too late. He jumped into the, but thank God, he said while he was going, he kept praying, God save me. God save me. If I could survive this, I would never do that again. And I would preach the word. So he fell in there, but he said he started feeling something circling around him. He didn't know what it was, but only to find out it was a sea lion that pushed him up until help arrived. So imagine that he was already having a change of heart, but because of the impact people had on him, like people he doesn't even know, laughing at him rather than say, are you okay? Why are you crying? And all of that. So our actions are really, really important. The way we talk to people, we might just say it and say, oh, I just said it. I didn't know you took it serious. But at the end of the day, it could be the difference between saving somebody's life or actually pushing the person to commit suicide. And to talk about another example, this would be myself. So growing up, I always had a problem with people laughing about the way my forehead is and my hair and stuff like that. And people always made fun of me, like say, oh, see how big your forehead is. Oh, why is your head like this? So that grew with me because it made me lose confidence in myself, even till I was like 25. And I remember before I came to Canada, I was living in Europe. I was living in Dublin. And somebody had laughed about it because every time I have my hair, when visitors are coming, I'll go put a head warmer on. And my auntie had pulled my hat off my head while people were there. It was Christmas. And I started crying. And she was like, why are you crying? You're so big and you're crying because I put it. I said, you know, I don't like people seeing my hair. You know, I don't like it. And I was crying. And they're like, they couldn't understand because they kept saying, it's just, no, you look so good. You look so good. I said, I don't care what you think. It's about how I feel about myself. So I felt so bad and I was crying and they couldn't understand it. But the truth is, you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what trauma I've had to go through growing up when people would laugh at me and call me names and say, oh, the name that stuck was two of them. They would either say Mamaiko. I don't know if you know what that means. You know how Lagos women, grown-up women wouldn't have hair on their head and then they would still be like going to parties and stuff.
Okay,
And there
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
they will call me a female tortoise because, you know, tortoises don't have hair. So they'll call me Yonibo. And they would laugh about it. But it wasn't funny to me because it was killing my self-confidence. And
Exactly.
at some point, like 2, 3 years ago, I said, you know what? I don't care about anything. And that's why I don't really get my hair done. I'm like, so now I
Screw
feel
it.
so confident, even though somehow I still suffer from that sometimes.
Yeah.
But it made me not to love myself. It made me, when people say, oh, you're looking beautiful, in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, right.
You're lying. Yeah.
People say, the things that people say, they don't know how it hurts you. I know I've made 2 videos about that. I'm going to put the link somewhere by the time this records. But you don't know what people are going through. So don't trivialize it. Don't say, oh, it's just hair. It's just hair. You don't know how I feel. So that's really important. Don't mind your lingo, as you said. Mind what you say because you don't know how it affects people in the long run. You might think it's just a little bit, but we are all different. And the way we absorb things are different. And the way we deal with things are also different. So yeah. So my last question for you before we take questions. I don't know if this is okay with you, if we can share like the link and if anybody wants to actually join the live stream to talk to you. So
Sure.
I could
I don't even know
I'm
how to
just
work
putting.
this thing, so you have to tell me what to do
So
halfway through.
I've already copied the link and I'm going to put it in the chat box and we'll see as many people as
Okay.
we can. So if you want to join the live stream, you could just click on that link. It would let you into the waiting room and then I can allow you to, for 2-3 minutes to ask your questions. But I have one last question for Bibi, and it is, what is your advice for people that might be experiencing a mental health crisis and do not know what to do or are scared to tell anyone because of the stigma that comes with it?
You're not alone. You're not alone. There's a community of people willing to help, willing to listen. There are people like you. I always say this. I myself, I am going through, it's not I suffered, I'm still suffering with my own mental illness. So you're not alone. It is not a ugly thing, it's not a tall thing, it's not a fat thing, it's a human thing and it happens. So just know you're not alone. Um, honestly, if you need help, seek out help. It's very, very important because it's just, if you need help, seek out help. You're not alone. And that, I think it's the thing with mental illness is the first thing you feel alone. You feel like it's only you, because everybody, every time you turn on your screens, your technology, anything you turn on, your books, everybody's normal. Now we're seeing, like, narratives and different things that has people, with mental illness, physical disabilities, and everything. Thank God we're seeing movies like that now to let you know that it's not only a one person thing, but usually everybody is normal. So when you have a mental illness, you feel like, oh my God, something is wrong with me.
With you.
No, it's not. You're not alone. You're not alone. Everybody goes through it. There is help out there. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's help that works. Most people say, "Our counseling doesn't work." Why will I just go and talk to one woman inside the room and the woman will tell me I'm okay? No, talking to somebody. People that have professional background in this, know the right words to say. They know how to deal with this. They know how to empathize, not even sympathize with you. So there are people out there built for this. So don't be scared to ask for help. And that's it. Just the idea. I just want this to go across, that everybody should know that if you suspect that you're going through a mental health crisis, illness, if you feel like you're breaking down, something is not, you're not alone. We're all here. We're all humans. We have the ability to feel. We have the ability to go through things. It's fine. It's okay.
Thank you. So one thing that I was going to touch up on is about when people tell you they're going to see a therapist, how people make you feel bad about yourself. I've noticed
Mm-hmm.
this among Africans. So there was a time that I was talking to somebody about, I want to see a therapist, and that was when I just had a baby, and you know how you get so, I don't even know, I don't want to use the word depression, but you have like some blues when you have a baby and you're
Yes.
home and you just want to talk to somebody, and people don't understand.
Yes.
Like, are you the first person that just had a baby? It happened. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's so special about that? And somebody had told
Mm-hmm.
me, why are you wasting your money to go just sit to somebody that would just talk? And
Mm.
that's the way people see therapy. Okay, you can go for therapy, but somebody that wants to go, that's willing to find help, you're discouraging them, saying you're wasting your money. Why would you go to somebody that would just sit there and just listen? Because a lot of times,
Mm-hmm.
therapy doesn't actually mean they're telling you what to do. It's just sometimes giving you a listening here without being judgmental, and they're looking at you,
Yes.
letting you to say your own thing. They would never put words in your mouth. They would ask you until you come up with your own solution sometimes. So, and I was like, that's all I need, because a lot of times I'm just with a baby, 24 hours a day with a baby, nobody to talk to. So if it would cost me money to talk to somebody, I don't care if they say anything back. I just want to talk. So later
Yes.
on, I found out that I had a friend that I met online, and this friend we never met in person, but we talk. And I kind of let out all my frustrations, and she does the same. So you find out that at some point you feel a lot better. So just
Yes.
keep a listening here. You don't have to say anything. And I would say, not to toot my own horn, but I'm a good listener. I would listen to you. I don't have to tell you, oh, wow, that's good. Even if what you're saying is like outrageous, I will just
Nigerian network has started.
keep my I'll keep my face and pretend like, oh, I've heard it before, just so you can listener, and thank you for not being judgmental. And I'm thinking, well, you don't know what I'm going through either. So I know the feeling of people judging me. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Can
you.
you
It's
hear me,
just going
Bibi?
in and out.
All
Can
right.
you hear
So I know
me?
the feeling of people. Yeah, I can hear you perfect. It could be my own network as well. You never know. So all these things are real. So because you've never experienced it, and because you don't really know about it, just shut up. You don't have to say anything. Just be quiet. Let them talk and give them a shoulder to cry on. And if you know that you don't know anything, as you said, try to get them to like get help for them, or lead them in the direction of getting help. So there was something that really fantastic that I did last year, that I saw last year, pardon me. And what it was I was going on my status on WhatsApp, and somebody had posted like a free counseling for Black women. It's called Mommy Monitor. So it's for, yeah, if you identify as Black or people of color. And it's this group that came together during the pandemic to give free counseling. And I didn't even tell the person that I saw this on your WhatsApp, but I felt that what that person did, it's fantastic. So I took that number and I called and I got registered. And every now and again, when I feel overburdened with something, I call them and I get counseling free of charge. So what that single act that person did, the person might never know, but who knows how many people got that number and was able to take advantage of it.
That's
So
true.
we should
That's true.
intentionally do these things to be able to ensure that people around us feel safe, feel better about themselves, and don't put them down. Because at the end of the day, you yourself don't know if you're going to be suffering from mental illness in the next few months
That's
or
the truth.
years. And you don't even know if you're already suffering from mental health, but because of your lack of information, you don't know. Some people have panic attacks. Some people have depression, anxiety, paranoia. Those are like the little things that we don't know, that we're thinking that it has to be a huge thing. So that's
Yeah.
really important. And I thank you for shining like a light on that. I'm really enjoying this conversation. So at this point, I don't know if anybody is interested in asking questions. As I said, I've posted the link. I'm going to post it again. So if you want, you can join the chat and ask your question. Otherwise, you can ask questions. I'm going to be going through the chat as well and just mentioning a few things that people might have said. Right?
Yeah, I'm going
So
through the chat as
yeah.
well.
So Vivian, I'm going to put this up there. So Vivian Amici, she said, because in Nigeria, the idea of suicide is not something that we really understand. We do not talk about mental health. No school in Nigeria, church or family teach about mental health. And that's really, yeah, that's true. So if you want to give your 1 or 2 cents on what Vivian had said.
Vivian, you're right in that aspect. When it comes to Nigeria not being so big on mental health and believing in all that, but right now there's actually a change, there's a shift. And I have a couple of people in Nigeria that actually are psychologists that actually deal on this, and they're even actually licensed to dispense out medication if need be. So times are changing, and I feel like the times of our mothers and our fathers have kind of passed, and it's still there. We have to still deal with the remnants of their reality and of their truth. But I think it's time we start taking charge a little bit of our reality and our truth. And I think it's a great idea to start sourcing out you know resources that is available, because there are resources that is available. Unfortunately, like I always say, I'm from the LGBTQ plus society, so I have to speak on this. It's kind of hard to find counseling that kind of caters to that, because for whatsoever reason, religion and the rest, it's difficult for us, members of the LGBTQ plus society, to kind of find help that caters to us. But then again, for other people out there, I believe there's some help. You can find counseling. There's counseling online. There's hospitals that have psychologists and stuff that you can reach out to in Nigeria right now. So make sure. And some people too. I don't really advise this, but I've worked with people that say it works. So people can talk to their pastor, But with me, tying in mental illness and religion in Nigeria is a huge thing for me, because I just feel like it gets covered up with the blood of Jesus, and some things doesn't
Exactly.
need to be covered up with the blood of Jesus. You know what I mean? So it's a huge problem. But I feel like there are modern day. I don't want to say modern day because I don't want to make pastor sounds archaic, but there are religious leaders that are enlightened, that offer mental health counseling in some kind of way that kind of caters back to religion. So if you are a religious person or you follow religion, there are people that are able to in the church offer you kind of counseling. But like I said, I usually suggest that people go to a free mind person, that you don't talk about religion, you don't bring up God, you just kind of talk about whatever you want to talk about. And the great thing about counseling, like I counsel and I go to counseling, and I'm a very, very firm believer that counseling works. And when I speak to my counselor, the things that she doesn't know about or she can't help me with, because there's sometimes I'm talking to her about my Nigerian problems, and the woman is looking at me like, eh? Like when I'm saying some certain things, she's looking at me like, what? She can't really help me in that aspect. But what she does is she reaches out to other resources that's available to her that could help a colored person, a Nigerian person, and she gives me those numbers, and she gives me those, she gives me access to those people. So even though one person can't really help you, if you speak to them, they can help you get access to other people. And that's the case right now in Nigeria. There are other people, there are counselors in Nigeria that's offering help, so you can take advantage of that. Although it's not our culture, although it's not our religion, although mental illness doesn't exist in Nigeria, it does exist, obviously, right?
Yeah, it does. So I think the problem with Nigeria even having resources now, it's actually creating awareness as to how to locate those resources. As to, is it free? Do you have to pay for it? Because at the end of the day, anything that people have to pay for, especially considering the current situation in Nigeria where people can even afford food, talk more of, they'll be like, I'll rather just do something else. I'll drink Gary with my money. So if we can find resources where it's free or at least affordable, or in situations where it's on the TV, it's on the news, and it's on buses, advertisement on BBT, BRT, or what, I don't know what's called. Is it BBT or BRT?
You need to get back to Nigeria, BBT.
BRT buses, so that people see a number that you could call in case you are in crisis. So it makes that awareness go a long way, rather than only people that has insurance from work. And how many people actually does have insurance from work, right? So it's really important that we create awareness. Now, to talk about pastor, I beg to differ. I don't believe in people talking about to their pastors on these issues. I would prefer that you get professional. Yeah, as you said, I don't want to say, okay, the pastor don't know what they're doing. But if it's something that has to do with spiritual, or I don't even know how to put it, that has to do with biblical issues, yeah, talk to your pastor. You want to grow spiritually, you want to strengthen your Christian life. But when it comes to mental health, I would say ask them if they have contact. Not necessarily they should be the one to counsel you, because at the end of the day, the pastor, think about it, they are spiritual people. They would see everything from a spiritual eye. It's like if you go to, if you need something, you need a furniture. Do you go to your doctor for that? You go to your carpenter, right? So pastors in this situation will always boil down to the same thing we're talking about, the stigma, especially if, as you said about LGBTQ community. If you go to your pastor to talk about that, do you think they will tell you it's a mental health issue or it is spiritual? It is the devil working in your life. So it's different. So you have to use the right tool for whatever is going on. So,
Right
and that's
avenue.
yeah.
Why
Because
why why I mentioned the pastor thing is I have a friend, and I'm going to mention his name because he's a pastor and he's also a counselor, but he's a young pastor. His name is Pastor Jimmy. He's an actor as well. And he's a pastor, but he's also a counselor. He's a rapper. He's a, because the thing is, times are changing, and the labels that we had before is changing as well. Like if he's a pastor that has dreads from top to bottom, and he's one of the coolest people I know. So I stay away from religion when it comes to counseling, but then meeting him and talking to him and stuff like that, it kind of like opened my mind. I'm like, okay, let's not cut out all pastors. but you have, like you said, you can't go to your doctor for carpenter work. It's not going to work. So it's if you don't have anybody to go to and your last resort and you need to talk to somebody, you can talk to your past. If but then again, LGBTQ plus, you can't. So it's being in Nigeria and even talking about mental health gives you mental health illness, because you're just like the anxiety, because I'm talking about right now and I'm getting anxious because I'm like,
That's funny.
how,
Yeah.
honestly, because how do you get mental help? You know what I mean? When you're living in a society that doesn't really support that doesn't believe that, and then still criticizes yourself as a whole. So it's crazy. But right now there are other people like online. Like I said, I'm always available, and if I'm not, I always tell people you can always reach out to me. You can always reach out to me. I'll give you a date. If I can't talk to you on the phone like this, we'll chat something. And I always give myself an example, because I don't want people to feel like they're alone or they're talking to this person that is going to look down on them. I have a mental illness, not only one. I have like 3 mental illnesses. You know what I mean? And I had to deal with them. I'm dealing with them as I go. So I'm dealing with my mental health issues, but I'm also finding ways to live a full, fulfilled life as well. So it's possible for most people. It's possible for some people. So if you reach out to people and try to get the help that you need, that is made available, it's okay. But if we just need to, Nigeria needs to do better. But then again, the government doesn't care about most things. So how do we even do better? You're talking about, putting ads on buses. When you go on buses and you see all the sign, but it's about God, it's about church, which in itself gives you a mental illness, because the idea of religion, I don't even want to get into this, makes you feel like you always have to kind of do better. That kind of pushes you and pushes you at all point. So anyway you look at in Nigeria, all the ads you see is of religion, of churches. So where does the mental health ad come in? Where? It's crazy. Ninja.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read here. So one is from J and O Journals, and the person said, I would say don't just rely on the pastor, but if you feel like you have nowhere to go, then the pastor could be an option. So that's touching on what you already said, right? And then the next person, Global Ariana, says, I personally would not do a mental health counseling with a religious leader. I'm a Christian, but I know when to draw the line. And then Vivian, hold on. Vivian Amici says, I do not believe in talking to pastors too. So that's really true. Like that's what we just talked about. I don't believe in it because I've seen a lot of people suffer from all kinds of treatment from their pastor. Now shedding a light on what Bibi had said about some pastors actually having that qualification as counselors. That's the truth. Sometimes if you know your pastor is not the type that's judgmental, or your pastor has, because sometimes pastors also are educated, they're doctors, they're lawyers, they're all kinds of things. So if you feel that they have that qualification, then you could talk to them. But otherwise, I've seen places where you go talk to your pastor and all of a sudden they blow it out of proportion. And before you know it, you're in the church and they're beating the heck out of you with broomsticks and all of that. Especially, I'm not being biased, but growing up in Nigeria, I've seen where people, the white garment churches, would beat children in a basket with brooms. So that kind of, it's kind of scary. And thinking about, so a lot of people will keep whatever they're feeling, they'll keep it to themselves. They'll keep it to themselves because they don't want to go through that same issue. So I think we have a whole lot of, we have a long way to go. So I know I can only speak to Nigeria situation because I am Nigerian. So I can only speak to that. But other countries, I don't know what they're going through. I don't know, like other African countries. I know there's so many other people from other Caribbean and African countries represented here in this chat today, but I don't know what they're going through. I don't know how it works out in their country. But with Nigeria, I believe like mental health still has a long way to go, like the awareness, and also not just awareness, actually creating like avenues for people to come and like even something like a AAA or is it AA group. I don't know if they have things like that and if it's affordable for people or free for people, people going through like issues like what's it called, being an alcoholic, those kind of AAA, being a sex addict or something, where you have AAA, sometimes it's organized in the basements of churches here. Do we have things like that in Nigeria? And these are the things that we need to put our money into. So talking about Canada here, it's not like it's free. Sometimes it could get to some part that it will be they
Yeah.
would consider you free, but it's not free here either, but it's available. Especially where I work, I get 80% off because I have insurance. And if your partner also has insurance, you're paying absolutely nothing. So why not take advantage of it? Right? But in Nigeria, that option is not there. And even when the option is there, people don't believe it actually is a problem. So that's where the problem is in itself. People don't believe it's a problem that they need to seek help for until they start doing something that goes out of hand and people end up saying, oh, you're a witch or you're a wizard or something. And then it hushes you. You don't want to talk further about it. And then you just keep it to yourself and continue. And I feel like sometimes if you're suffering from some kind of mental issue that it's unresolved, even though sometimes some mental health issues might not be hereditary, but you kind of pass it on to your children because you always act up, you're always
Yep.
angry, and then your children will see that, and then they would think that's the normal way to act because your children will usually mirror what you do. So when you're always angry, always flinging stuff, always yelling, then the kids will also grow up and start to do the same thing. And then before you know it, they're also developing their own mental health issues just because you didn't try to figure out what was wrong with you and seek help. So at the end of the day, you're not just doing this for yourself, you're also doing that for if you're going to have children down the line, or if you're going to be taking care of children down the line, thinking about, even though it might not be your biological child, so you can pass on that, but you can actually pass it on to them because children mirror what they see. And so because you have like anger problems and you never sought anger management classes, the children would also start picking up that trait and then become a
Even
angry
even
person.
even if they don't even pick up the anger, that could even build up anxiety.
Yeah,
That could build up hyperactive behavior, because sometimes the thing is, like what you said right now is so important. Like, I'm so happy that you brought this up. I'm sorry to cut you short, but as you just brought it up, it was like a light in my head, because sometimes we might be doing something and that triggers something else. Like right now, you might have a mental health issue and you don't know how to deal with it. You're not seeking help. You think, oh, it's not a big deal, it's going to pass, and you're actually shutting your kids off. You're actually making them timid. You're making them quiet. You're making them rebel. Like, there's different things. There's different ways people react and act towards what you're doing. And you're looking like, okay, where did they get this from? Nobody in my family used to have anxiety, but you're the one that created that anxiety for your child, for your even if it's not your children, your people you work with, your co-workers, your parents. Like, it the thing about mental illness is it actually affects everybody around us. That's why
everybody
the
around
definition
you.
says we have to be able to be a part of community. Because if you're having a mental illness, you right away you're taking yourself out of, the mental illness takes you away from community and your ability to kind of go day by day, right? So it affects everybody around you. So if you actually have a mental health crisis, issue, or illness, try to take a look at it, try to seek help, and just go to the most to seek help. And please make sure that if you're not finding help, type online there right now. If you have Instagram, you just try it, type mental health help. You will see so much resources that's available to you. Even though someone can help you face to face, there are groups of people that are willing to reach out to you. There are groups of people that are willing to speak to you, be a part of something. Just try your best, because you're not alone in this. Don't ever feel like you're alone. No, you're not. There's a bunch of people actually sitting waiting for you to join their community so they can be able to help you out.
Reach out. Yeah. So I'm going to read this from I Love It. And by the way, I love that name. So he said, at Bibi, is there a difference between mental illness and mental health? Because I think they are two different things.
Yes, so mental illness, like it says, is the illness itself. Mental health is the well-being. So when I speak of mental illness, I don't like using mental illness at all points, because sometimes it's not a full illness. Sometimes it's just a crisis. Like someone has a meltdown. Like, being a mental health first aider, you see people that don't have a long stream of mental illness. They just had a breakdown. Someone can just have a panic attack, and then someone has a chronic panic attack. So like me, I have chronic panic attack. I have panic attack disorder. But then you can meet someone that just has a breakdown and experiences one panic attack. So it's different. So when I say crisis, they break down the long-term illness of it. But if I say mental illness, then it covers only the sickness of it own aspect. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I hope you understand that. I love it. Yeah, so that's
You are right. There
really
are two
important.
different things.
Yeah, they are two different things. So most of the time I just say mental health issues because it's kind of broad because it covers like everything, both the chronic and just the one-off situation. So yeah, a lot of people don't know about these things. A lot of people know about it but choose to ignore. And a lot of people have it, but they don't want to come out because they're scared of what it would do. I've met people in the past that they want to leave the country just because of that. Not because of anything else, not because they're poor. They just want to leave the country because they believe they'll find more help here in Canada or in the UK or in the US. That's the only reason why they want to leave Nigeria. And it boils down to this. If everybody leaves Nigeria, then who's left? Right? Because you're letting all your talents go just because you can't provide the basic things. So, and here in Canada, they're like, bring them on, bring them on. In US, bring them on. They're taking all your talents and using it to grow and develop their own country. But Nigeria is not thinking about how can we retain our own talent by providing basic things, because everything we have here, they're just basic: light, water, education, healthcare. They're basic things that everybody should have. And that's one thing that the Nigeria government needs to do. Like, think about these things. If you don't, then you're going to be stuck with only the older people. No offense to anybody that is a senior watching this, but you're going to be stuck with the same old people that has the same old mentality and don't want to do anything good. So it's crazy.
Even the old people that have the old mentality still wants to, like, they want to leave Nigeria, which I'm like, I thought everything is fine. I thought God solves everything. I thought this place is perfect. Nothing is wrong. So where are you going? Where are you going? Stay
I
here
know,
now.
right? Because when they come visiting, like if the kids, if they have grandbabies and they have to come to visit, they see everything, that they see the difference, and they don't want to leave. And I'm thinking, well, maybe if we had made our country a lot better, nobody would have to come here in the first place. But oh well, that's a story for another day. So thank you so much, Bibi. I really appreciate you joining us and shedding light. I don't know if anybody has any more questions before we round up this session, but I really enjoyed this topic. If anybody has questions, but if you don't, I'm just going to do like a quick rundown of the people that have been leaving messages and just acknowledge you and thank you for coming. I can see you, Extra Step CEO, Vivian Amechi. I love it. Latoya Belfon. If you don't know Latoya Belfon, she's really like she's going to be talking to us in the next, I think, April 3rd, and you don't want to miss it. The topic for that one is Inspire to Empower. You don't want to miss it. Check her out on Instagram, and she's an author. She just released a book 2 days ago for Easter. So if you have little kids, you can order from her. Moyo, thank you for attending. Pretty Wura, thank you for attending. I'm trying to see if I've covered everybody. Storytime Playground, thank you for attending. And yeah, I think I covered everybody. But if you didn't hear your name, it's probably because I scrolled too fast. So I'm going to go through it one more time. And yeah, I see Glow by Ariana, J and O Journals. Thank you so much for attending. And we're going to be having another session next week on the 27th. So please come back. It's going to be at 10 a.m. I'm going to put up the poster. And thank you so much. Thank you, Bibi, once again. I'll get back to you after this chat. And I love you. And sure, if you haven't given this a thumbs up, make sure you give it a thumbs up right now. If you have topics that you think we should discuss, and if you have possible guests that you think I can invite, you can go to my, I have my Instagram on the screen right now, That Proud Black Woman. I'm also on TikTok. On my email is also thatproudblackwoman@gmail.com. Just drop in there, and I will try to see if I can reach out to those speakers and talk about those topics. So remember to subscribe if you are not yet subscribed, and share this link. So this is going to be recorded. It's already recorded. So by the time I get off this live, it's going to be recorded in in my channel or on my channel, so you can share the link to other people that you think really needs to hear this. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Bye, guys.